Welcome back, everyone. So we were talking about inheritance, how we have our base class and inherit, and there is actually even more ways of specifying your inheritance. You could actually make this private. When I was doing inheritance here, right, the dog, right, I could have made it also private. Anything from the animal would be private, which is rarely done actually, right? It's usually kind of that's too strict. It's enough you have strict. You have already strict protections over here, right? So you trust that the animal class was defined correctly, right? You don't need anything. Whatever is public, right, is what you can use. Protected is what you can use internally, and private stuff is not for your own consumption. So allergies, you can only use setters and getters, right? Very strict control. Of course, here you would control. You would add validation here. Same also. You could add validation here, right? Again. So whether somebody is worthy of getting this allergy list. Okay. Now, but let's get to the other approach, which I like better, again, so I'm biased obviously, is of course composition, right? Which is so classically defined, you have a relation, right? You have legs, you have arms, you have a head, right? So those are all separate, defined somewhere else as classes, and you basically have them, right? So this means you are much less, it's sort of like less, it's more loose, and that actually models the real world much better, right? So, you have something from a different class, right? So, by definition, you include it, right? So, aggregation has a relation, right? Let's do that. So let's do an example, right? I'll say this, add comments for access. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got one more person, right? Welcome back. All right, 1 second. Okay, now so let's do composition. So what we'll do is, right? Right. Let's explore the concept of composition in C++ and in object-oriented. Right. So idea is where a class can contain an object from another class, and that's all it is really, right? So again, so we'll do a wheel, probably a car. So difference from inheritance where class can inherit is another class, right? Contain has. Right, so that's the main thing. So include aerostream, include stream, yes, of course. Let's do cars, no namespace, let's see what we're going to use. Yeah, of course, we'll use a wheel automotive example, right? So basically, some blueprint, right? Engine started, right? We can maybe add some power, right? Let's add some power settings. Control C, no, okay, C, Control Z. Right, we'll also want some power, I guess what's called volume, I guess, that's a word for volume, how many liters we have. Size, engine size. Right, integer, no, of course, double, right, double. Volume, right. Also, what we want else, probably want type, right? Diesel or electric hybrid, right? So that would be a good, nice enum, right? Of course, would be good, So volume, right? Started, right? And maybe HP, and integer HP, right? Also horsepower, right? Horsepower, right? Of course, we'll also want to do a constructor, right? Constructor, probably, right? double volume, this volume, right, engine created, right? So we have things to start, stop, right, and we can do things, right? So that's ready to go. Let's do some wheels, right? Hopefully we have some wheels. No, okay, let's do a car for now, okay? So we're going to define the car, which has an engine. That's all we're saying. We're saying that we have an engine, right? And notice here, right, we have a car, right? And we are also passing an engine volume HP, right? So this should mean that the engine is also accessible, right? It's a shorthand constructor, right? So volume HP, right? So this part here, right, is passed to the engine constructor. So basically, we will have the engine as well. So above, we already have an engine. Bless you, engine in object created using, yeah. So that's something to keep in mind, right? But of course, these things will get messy when we have wheels and we have what else do we have? Want to have the engine to the car? I don't know. Well, we'll stick with wheels for now. Let's see how it works. Okay, so let's use it. Int main, of course, right main. We have Toyota 2.5. Okay, why not? 200 HP. That's pretty powerful. What kind of phone? What kind of model? Right? We probably want a model, right? So name or maker, right? Let's do maker and model, right? Model on a model, right? Right? So of course now this name does not exist, so I need to change this, right? So I can keep the name, of course, right? This will work. I just need maker, right? But that of course not a good practice, you know. Control maker and maker, right? And of course I also want, but I need this, of course, a model, right? String model, right? And of course this model is model, right? So now of course I need what, I'm curious what kind of car it's going to be, right? Toyota, what kind of car? Corolla 1.8, okay, that's more like it, right? All right, so car can drive, and so notice the access, so basically here, right? So a car has an engine has a member function start, and I can use it basically, right? So this is a pretty decent approach, right? So let's see if this works actually. Let me compile it. Not G++, but G++. Small composition and output composition. Seems to work. Yeah. So created, the car is driving, engine started, engine stopped, right? So car created. So notice also engine was created here, right? Before the car, which makes sense, right? Since it needed the volume. So do we have access to the maker model, right? We have access. These are public, right? Car has that. How about the engine? What is public? It's all public, right? Volume and HP are public, right? So I can also see the start engine. See how many HP engine has. Car engine HP. Pretty nice, right? Car dot engine HP, right? So if you make things are clicking when you see, okay, everything, you know, kind of readable, right? You know, you don't have to make too many assumptions, right? Don't have to make too many mental gymnastics, right? To squeeze in the naming. So car engine HP looks okay, right? So this should be 140, right? And indeed, where is it? And combination. Oh, of course, I need to compile it. Yeah, that's a small detail. And of course, engine has 140 HP. Okay. Now let's make one more car. Let's do another car, right? Let's create another car. Car 2, Honda Civic 1.6, okay, sure, why not? Right? And can drive and so on, start. Well, of course, driving should not be possible before engine start, right? That's something to solve, right? You don't want to, if you're driving before, it should include a check whether the engine started, right? Of course, right? So that's, of course, will be up if you design the actual system, of course, logically, bless you. Right, so, of course, we drive should contain a check whether engine is started, right? So that's another issue, right? Let's see if this works, right? And of course we can stop, right? And of course we stop, right? And nothing changes, right? Of course, like in saying contain HP, right? And we can also, of course, see what make it is. The car is of maker and model, right? So we also, of course, these are public, right? So we can access it, no big deal, right? Yeah, maker Honda, model Civic. All right. Now, so let's try adding wheels. Let's add wheels to the car right now. Let's do wheels. That's going to be harder. Let's define wheels. Class wheels, public size, brand, we can rotate, right, spinning, right, and we have a constructor size and brand, right, Michelin, whatever, you know, also of course size, once you get better, there's all these 3 different parameters. If you, those who have cars, right, how many have cars or drive? Couple, right, most of you, right, at least half. How many have licenses?
Expired.
Expired already? Yeah. Or taken away? Or no?
No. I mean, Ukraine license, first license expire after 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and to retake your license, you need to have less than 3 strikes for driving.
Wow, wow. Okay. All right. So yeah. No. So of course we need to. So we have the cars, right? Of course we can get more into details, like get technical. What's the name? There's so many properties you could add, right? So for wheels, of course, you have these 3 different parameters, like the thickness, the weight, and not the weight, but the width, the it's called height, and there's three different parameters, right? So you need to buy winter wheels, of course, and you start exploring this. Okay, but for now, we'll just get size. It's a kind of very simplistic way of saying it. But okay, brand, right. So the problem is, of course, now how do we add these wheels to the car? Because we want probably 4 wheels, right? I assume, right? Not just one single wheel to the car, right? So cars have, of course, cars have 4 wheels, right? So generally, right? So hopefully my AI will be smart enough to tell me, right? So wheel force, right? So yeah, that would be a sort of like default constructor, but we won't probably make them, right? So I'm not sure I'm guaranteeing Michelin tires, right? This is one way to do it, right? But we basically say, yeah, they exist, right? Basically, right? So I would say vector, maybe we could do vector. Probably a vector constructor. I would do, or this would work, right? So now, of course, I need wheels 4, right? Generally, yeah. Right. So, well, of course, there are cars with 3 wheels, like that famous BMW from the 1950s, right? They have these 3-wheel cars. And was Mr. Bean had that? Nemesis who? Yes, he had a 3-wheel car, right? So, yeah. So. But okay, for now, well, all right. Okay, now, but for now we'll stick with 4. But the question now is the hard part is this part here, right? We generate wheels, but we need to make it, right? So here, right, we don't have a default constructor for wheels, right? We need the wheels, but we don't have it, right? So we need to pass. Okay, so this gets messy now. I think there's a way to do it. I'm pretty sure we can, right? So we have a maker, we're giving a bunch of information, right? So string, model, right? Again, I'm going to try to make it so it's easier to see this, right? Right? So now that's what we're passing in. So I'll pass in also maker, right? Wheel maker string, wheel maker, right? On the wheel size, int wheel size, right? Wheel size, right? Okay, that's all that's needed for a car. All right, these 2 parameters, but of course now I need to pass in. I think I can do this. Let's try this. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I did this, right? Yes, okay. And that's it? Yes, but the problem is, of course, that this is actually a an array of wheels, right? So that makes things more complex, right? So we need to actually, this won't work, right? So we can't use this simple, right? So we need to create them here, right? For wheels, we need to make them here, right? Because do we have an engine? Do we have a wheel constructor? Yeah, we do. And again, we are assuming that we can make all, hopefully all the wheels are of same maker, right? Sometimes you have an accident, right? They put a replacement wheel, one of the, which is not the same maker, right? I once, going off, I had a story, I rented a car once, I think it was Bolt or Car Guru, whatever it was, and I noticed one wheel was different. So somebody had actually, turns out somebody had taken the replacement wheel, right, and stuck it on there, but they didn't have it, basically, apparently they had stolen the wheel, apparently, right? So we don't know who did it, right? I submitted the report, but, somebody just did it, basically. I don't know, maybe they really needed the wheel, right? So yeah, because you notice the car was driving a little bit off. So, okay, but for now here we stick with this. So now the issue is, so we said, okay, we want this, yeah, we have wheels, right, 4 wheels, array, basic C-type array, right? We could have used vector, right, but for now let's do this. So we need to initialize this, right? So we have a car, right, we'll need of course to say what wheels we use, right, Michelin 16, and this will what's Honda use, probably something, I don't know, whatever. What we use, Bridgestone 15. Okay, sounds okay. Right, but this part here, we need to fix this part here, right? So engine is kind of does it to ourselves, but we have to make a, see this says, no default constructor exists for class wheels. We need to make the wheels. Let's make some wheels. So 4, I think this will work. This should be enough. Yeah. Again, so now of course I don't like if I start seeing too many of these 4s again. Seeing 4 here is it called smell? Possibly we might want to support 3 or I don't know, or six wheels, right? There are some cars that that BMW or that Mercedes with 6 wheels, kind of scary looking car, right? So, okay, so yeah, but okay, but let's see if this works. So right now, yeah, because we don't have a now. Of course, let's see what does it say here. No, it doesn't like it. Let's see if it works. String wheel maker, wheel size. This looks to me okay to overloads. This looks okay to me, but I don't know. We'll see this if it compiles. Nope. Okay, let's take a look what happened here. Right, this is gonna this gets messy. So because we have a whole bunch of errors to look through, right? No matching function for call to wheels, right? Right, so here it expects the wheels, right? Wheels constructor. Looks okay to me here. This part looks okay. So the question: do we have to now? Do I move it? This syntax is kind of cool. Do I have to get rid of it? I wonder. Right? If I get rid of it, right, then I have to make an engine here, right? Unfortunately, let's make an engine, right? But let's make an engine, right? And that still doesn't fix the problem, right? Or do I have to define it, right? This is how I do it in Python, but again or say maybe in Scala. But let's see this part here. This is where it's a little bit iffy, right? No default constructor for default constructor, or maybe I have to. What about this? Okay, Control Z. Or Control Z. Let's see what the slides say about this approach. Because of course we made things very tricky, right? Well, unfortunately, the slides, the book does not say talk about this, right? We'll talk about virtual functions in a moment, in the next lecture, that's on Thursday, right? But let's just talk about different way how to model this, right? You define how would you solve this problem. List of nouns, choose the classes. From list of verbs, choose the operation. That's something, you know, you sort of like object-oriented design. What you do with the problem, you write down on a piece of paper what you have, basically, and then you eventually, hopefully, with some experience, come up with some design. But okay, but that doesn't help our syntax issue, right? Again, multiple inheritance, that makes things even more difficult. It's possible, but you don't want to worry about this. But let's talk about this part here. If your composition, right? C++, reference, composition, all right, let's take a look at this, right? Let's look at this, this is old, really old. Let's see if anything else, right? We want initialization, so this is a complex class, so simple class, right? So we have a here, right? We say, okay, this is by the way private, but okay. So we need to initialize. We have some data. And this is, of course, yeah, but this is the easy part. This is the already did, right? So unfortunately, this also does not help us. So let's see if we can solve this. Right. Now, so what happens if I sort of, can I do this? But it still doesn't look good, right? Wheels. I said I have multiple wheels, right? Can I provide this wheel size? Do I need to do it here? So what does it say now? No default constructor constructs for class wheels. Yes. It's in here. Right? And this is an issue, actually. I wonder if we can solve this. Single wheel, of course, would be the same. Okay. Let's okay. For now, let's start with the basic stuff. Let's do a single wheel, right? For now, right? Single wheel, right? Assume we drive on a single wheel for now, right? Wheel, right? Just single one for now, right? That seems kind of silly, but let's go with that. Let's do that. Wheel, right? And then, of course, it will work, right? This will work, I think. Oh, come on, doesn't work? Or maybe do I have comma? How do we separate this? Is that it? Okay, comma, okay. So we are okay. And we also have a single wheel. Right. Okay, so that works for now, right? And we can do things like spin that wheel, wheels rotate, and things like that, right? Let's do that, and let's rotate some wheels. Let's rotate the wheels, and wheel rotate, right? So that works, hopefully. Control Z. Yes, so it compiles, and of course, and yes, wheels are rotating. Okay, so everything works, right? So, but again, that doesn't solve our problem. We want to have multiple wheels, right? And again, so the question is now, how do we achieve this array? Do we push them, right? We are saying we want 4 wheels, not just a single one, right? Could we just get by with this, right? Wheels, comma, right? We need to provide these. So if you have multiple objects and you're composing your big object, you're creating your big class template, right? Then you need to provide multiple of these, right? Whatever you want to have inside, right? So let's see. Of course, I could sort of cheat. Could I cheat with this, right? Multiple wheels, single wheel. Can I? Okay, let's do this. So wheels. Let's include multiple wheels. So the thing is, can I do that? Let's say, or maybe count, right? Of course, then I can just make it, right? So I guess for now, so I guess I'll do vector, right? So I'll do vector, right? Wheels, wheels, wheels. I'll do private. Let's do private. Let's include the vector of wheels here. And of course, I need the vector class here, right? So that would be one way of doing it. Include vector, right? That's something, by the way, yeah, on midterm, you should use vector whenever possible. It's going to make your life easier, right? And vector wheels. Yes, this would be a better approach, private, right? So, right, so we can do a count, right? So, wheel count, right? Int wheel count, right? Yeah. Not hard coded, no. So this would be one approach, right? This is something I can do. This wheel size, right? On wheel count, of course, we'll pass it here, right? Wheel count, int wheel count, right? All right. So what we do is, right? So this is sort of like, this feels like not as nice, right? So now, of course, now I can, I have single wheel, all right? I can now I can use the wheel count to create the wheels, right? So, right, push back wheels, wheel size, wheel maker, right? So now this everything works, right? Wheels, right? But this is of course private, right? Remember, this is a private, right? Right. So I have my wheels, my private wheels, right? Yeah, and then of course I don't need a single one, of course, either, right? I could skip this one, right? And let's see, does this everything compiles? Nope, does not compile because, of course, because I did not provide how many wheels I have, right? So assume 4, right? And assume 4 here, right? And this is also shows, look at this, look at this object creation, right? The syntax. Well, yeah, Honda Civic, sure. But these numbers, again, unless you already are familiar with this, you know, it's hard to say which one's which. Okay, so 1.6, yeah, okay, if you're an engine guy, okay, yeah, that's probably engine, right? Or 120, what heck is 120? Is that speed or is this HP, right? Of course, you can see, okay, yeah, this is, if you look at good ID, will tell you what it is, but probably better be to actually name these things, right? So you have to do this, right? Maker, right? You can do this, right? Yeah, we can, right? No, sorry. We can't do this? I thought I could. I thought I could do this. That's another thing with C++. I thought you could do this. So, but which one is which? Maker, model, right? Maybe you can't. I thought you could.
Maybe you have to put the type of the variable.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so string maker. I don't know. Nope. Close, but no. Maybe that's this. Maybe this one. Nope. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Again, like I said, I don't really. I'm happy I don't have to work on C++ on my day job. So, yeah. Right. Right. So you could do this. Now this, of course, string model. Right. Okay. And of course, double, what the heck was that? No, I forget now. Volume?
Engine.
Engine, right? Was it engine or volume?
Take engine.
It is for engine, but what the heck was it? Volume. Yeah, it is engine, of course. Yeah, you could call it engine also, double volume. But this is of course now of course you can see what it is, right? So int HP, right? Okay, so you know what it is, right? So this is of course named, right? And of course this is now string maker, or what was it? No, not maker. This is wheel maker, right? Unfortunately, AI, yeah, okay, it exists. Okay, now we're making progress. Now on int string size, for wheel size, int wheel size, right? I hope I'm getting. And finally, wheel count, right? Wheel count, I think was it? I don't know. Is it? Okay. What's the problem is here? Must have class type. Why doesn't it? This looks so good to me, but maybe there's something wrong with this. Maybe I try to do too much. Maybe, right? String maker model wheel count. Looks okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what did I do wrong? String 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So there's no problem here. I thought you could do this. Okay, let's compile it and we'll see what it yells at. Okay. Car engine. Well, of course, it's going to give you errors, right? So car 2 has a problem. Right. For member drive, which is non-class type. I tried to make things nicer. Now, of course, they're not so nice, right? Now I have to see. I guess I'm just gonna skip this again for now, right? Yeah, I will do this ugly way, right? The issue, of course, is readability, right? You can't tell what heck is for now, right? Again, because it's wheels, right? And so this is not a great design. Probably it would be better to actually pass the objects already to the class, already making composing, right? So this will work, right? But unfortunately, I'll add to do how to pass named parameters. I forgot. I thought there was a way to do it. I could have sworn it was. Maybe you see this. Yeah. Okay. Now it works. Wheels are rotating. We can again, but of course I'm not 100% happy with this approach. Of course, first of all, right, we had the wheel count. So can we skip the single wheel? Do we need it? What happens? We don't need this anymore, right? Do we? Right? Okay. And what the heck is that? Okay, that's thing. Okay. Do we have a problem? We don't have a problem anymore. Wheel count. Wheels push back. Alright. So that also works. But now wheel rotates. There's no wheels to rotate. So of course we can do the, well, because there's no wheel to rotate, but what we do have, we have the individual wheels, right? But they are private, right? Well, okay, let's do them public, right? I'll move them here, right? Since I'm lazy. And everything looks fine. And now, of course, I can do what? Wheels, one rotate. That works, right? On the first wheel will rotate. Okay, sorry. Compiles and it composes and wheels are rotating. Yes, all right. So wheels rotate, and of course I could add the for the wheels rotating. Wheels of maker, I could add a band, right? Wheels. Wheel, actually, right? Single wheel. Maybe this is also partially why, single wheels rotating, actually, right? I should probably rename this, right? Rename symbol. Wheel. Apply. All right. Wheel is rotating. Wheel made by okay, so that's hopefully you see this part here, that just a little additional cosmetic sugar, and let's see if we can compile it and finish this today. Yeah, Wheel made by Bridgestone, size 15 is rotating. Car is maker, everything works, right? Machine is running, hopefully you get to your destination. Of course, that's how you could add more and multiple things. But again, hopefully you see this approach, well, has multiple advantages, mostly, right? Because you can separate how much detail you want to add to each object, right, in your class definitions, in your template, right, and then you can compose how much granular, because maybe the engine has also maybe some parts, wheels maybe have some parts, and so on, and of course car has maybe some other things, right, so again, it makes sense to use this composition if possible. Okay, let's see what else do you want to see in the slides. Right, so so encapsulation, right, we hide the information hiding. Right, to find the classes, we describe the problem, we choose the classes from a list of nouns, we choose operations from the list of verbs of what we can do. Right, so it sounds simple in practice, as you saw it sounds simple in theory, but not so simple in practice, because of course you run into the fact that in C++ you have multiple ways of doing the things, right? And it is extremely fully featured of the OOP possibilities, basically. So, what I want to show you one more thing is, member functions. Right, when you're inheriting, right? Yeah, it's polymorphic, right? So on Thursday we will look at virtual classes, basically abstract classes, basically where we define something, but we don't actually implement at all, right? We will use them actually. Derived classes will be using actually implementing things, right? So, okay. Any questions which we did not cover about the composition or inheritance today? Does this make more or less sense design-wise, more or less? So, yeah, not too horrible, right? But you will be able to make, in your homework, you'll be able to make a class, I hope, right? It's due the week after, not this week, the current homework. Remember the one I made on last Thursday, right? This one here, the wrap, right? Where you have to inherit, right? Let's see how many of you have done this already. One person. Yay! Yes, very good, very good.
Until Wednesday night.
No, it's 9 days. I extended this for this.
I mean next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday night, yeah. It's not too long. I mean, that's too far away, right, in the future, right. It's like my daughter, I asked her, but she started doing homework on Saturday. She says, why? We have the Sunday night, of course, for that, right? Yeah, of course, right. So, okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you on Thursday.